Comic Book Savant, episode 326.
I know this. This I know. All that I have, all that is me, resides inside my poetry. And every time I write a rhyme, it might be the line that sets mine free. And also, I know that I don't...
Welcome to the Comic Book Savant. I'm your host, James Harris. This week, this episode is going to be a series spotlight. I did an episode like this a few weeks ago, spotlighting Deadshot, which was a limited series that was turned into a trade paperback that had been republished and put out more recently. I got a concept for doing more so of a series spotlight. I've did other theme shows like Trade Your Picks and things like that in the past. Since I cover so much different things on the show and I don't do as many comic reviews as some other comic book shows you do, I thought it would be kind of cool to do more things condensed in a series spotlight, because when I do catch up on a particular book, I'll, read 10, 15 issues consecutively. So I thought it'd be a good idea to just do a series spotlight, cover everything I'm reading on that series, and just knock it out as in one fell swoop instead of doing all these like smaller episodes. So I can really get in depth, talk about that one particular book in that one episode, and to give you guys what my real impressions are, instead of doing smaller, different other review episodes. So I'm going to try this format out, see how you guys like it. This particular episode is going to be covering Darth Vader, the Marvel Star Wars series. But before we get into that, as always, I'd like to give a shout out to my friends over at the Comics Podcast Network, which you can find over at comicspodcast.com. A great resource if you like this show and you want to find more comic book related podcasts like myself. You can find there are literally hundreds of different shows available on the Comics Podcast Network. If you have a moment, definitely check it out. And please support the podcaster. If you do stumble across a podcast you like on the network, reach out to that host and let them know that how you found the show, to let them know that their partnership with the Comics Podcast Network is, bringing listeners to them. And let them know, what you like about their content. I know as me, as a content creator, it inspires and invigorates me when I get feedback from you guys. So definitely pass that along. It means so much as for a content producer on the other end. And just check it out. Again, you can find single person podcasts like myself. You can find roundtable formats. You can find things more specialized to particular publishers or a particular character or team. It's so many different themes of podcasts out there that you can really drill down on one particular thing that fits your interest or your needs at a particular time. So if you have a moment, check out the Comics Podcast Network at comicspodcast.com. Last but not least, I'd like to give the shout out to the sponsor of the episode, which is InStockTrades.com, one of the best places online that you can go to get any type of collected editions. If it comes from trade paperbacks, hardcovers, omnibuses, absolute editions, Marvel Masterworks, you name it, they have one of the widest selection of collected editions that you can find anywhere on the internet. Again, you can get discounts anywhere from 35, 42 up to 50% off. They have their Deals of the Week section that is constantly updated on their site. I'm looking at it now and looking at the new deals that just got posted up. They have Batgirl, a celebration of 50 years. Let's see, is this a hardcover or a trade paperback? This is a hardcover, 50% off, $19.99. You got Batman and the Outsiders hardcover volume 1. That is 50% off, $24.99. That's a great deal. You also have Deadpool Mercs for Money trade paperback volume 1. Mercs More Monkey, 50% off, only $7.99. You have Future Quest volume 1 trade paperback, 50% off, only $8.49. And you have the First Rebirth trade paperback for Superman Action Comics, Volume 1, Path of Doom, Again, that's the first Rebirth trade for the Action Comics series, so you definitely would want to pick that up. 50% off, only $8.49. If you are not familiar, if you don't know, I'm going to let you know. If you place an order $50 or more, you get free shipping if you are a U.S. customer. If you happen to be a customer outside of the U.S., you won't get that free shipping, but you still get the great savings, and they have some of the most reasonable international shipping rates around, so you can still save a ton of money. So definitely that's something you want to check out, and let them know if you do try in stock trades, that you let them know that you heard about them here first on the Comic Book Savant podcast. That greatly helps the show. Now to get to the meat of the episode, which is Darth Vader. Again, this is the Marvel Comics Star Wars series. It ran for 25 issues. What I'm going to be covering in this episode, because I've reviewed other issues before now, I just had them built up. I was really liking the series, so I'm going to be covering issues 15 all the way through issue 25, which is where the series ended. If you're not familiar, it's written by Kieran Gillian. The artwork was done by Salvador LaRocca. Colorist is Edgar Delgado. The lettering was done by Joe Caramagna. And you can also find the issues that I'm covering. I have the individual single issues. The issues that I'm going to be covering now, since the series has completed, and I think all of the trades are available now. I will have links in the show notes on the website to where you can get the. If you want physical copies to in stock trades, it'll have it'll be a link to the Darth Vader series page, or you can pick up all the order all the trades if you want the physical copies, or I'll also have a link to the Comixology, so if you want to find them digitally. So I'll have easy links for you to get to everything that I'm covering in this episode. If I do interest you in what I'm reviewing, if you want to go pick it up, you'll have just to go ahead to the website, comicbooksavant.com. You'll see the show notes and click on the link. It'll take you right there. So the three trades that encompass the issues that I'm going to be discussing is Star Wars Vader Down. That was a crossover between the Star Wars ongoing series and Darth Vader. Some of the issues go through that trade, through Darth Vader Volume 3, the Sue-Toron War trade paperback, and the last one is Darth Vader Volume 4 End of Games trade paperback. And the breakdown is as follows for these trades. For the Star Wars Vader Down, the breakdown is as follows. When Vader accidentally finds himself facing off against a rebel fleet on his own, he's sent crashing into a nearby planet. Will the rebels seize the opportunity to put an end to one of their greatest enemies, or will they be made to feel the full power of the dark side? The Sith Lord may be down, but he isn't out. In the breakdown for Volume 3, Darth Vader Volume 3, the Sue-Toron War, is Darth Vader of the Sith's unstoppable march continues. Natives of the Sue-Toron are revolting, and there is no way the Empire will stand for that. When Darth Vader is tasked with leading a military assault against the planet, could it be the rise to glory has begun? But who will follow Vader into war? Would you? Then again, it's better to fight alongside Vader than against him. That is the lesson that one of the barons are about to learn. And last but not least, breakdown for the last trade, which is Darth Vader Volume 4, The End of Games, is Darth Vader has been secretly pursuing his own agenda, but now's the time for the end of games. As Inspector, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Thanoth returns with some startling information. It seems that Vader may have passed his master's test, but even after finding favor in the eyes of the Emperor, the Dark Lord's schemes may yet prove his undoing. While killer droids 000 and BT wreak havoc in their own homicidal adventure, the Empire's dreadnought, the Executioner, moves closer to launch, but Vader faces tumultuous battles with the cybernetic silo and himself. Lost in the visions of the Force, is he now more machine than man, or can he fight his way back to from the brink to see his missions and machinations finally come to fruition. The Imperial March of the Dark Side reaches a crescendo. This series overall, and I've talked about it in different points before when I've reviewed the individual comics. This has been a very strong series. I'm a huge fan of Kieran Gillen. He did some work at Image. I cannot remember his what this series was that he did over at Image. I can't remember what it was because I never read it. But I first got wind of Kieran Gillen when he came over to Marvel. He jumped on X-Men. I can't remember if it was Uncanny or just a regular X-Men title. I want to say it's Uncanny X-Men. And I read an issue, and I just loved the way he handled Magneto. Magneto was back with the X-Men at the time, and the issue that I picked up was a spotlight on Magneto. And I just loved how he wrote the darkness in the character, but balancing him being on the side of good. But again, it just showed the complexity in the character, and how easily, based on perception, you can be painted as a villain or a hero. I just loved something about it. And he went on and had a pretty decent run on that. He did Tales of Mysteries, where he did a fabulous job with the Loki character. He writes villains extremely well. And I just kept following his work because I love Loki. It's a character that I've always loved from a kid to now. So he just kept writing characters of the similar yoke that I was always very interested in. I've always been a big fan of Magneto, and I've talked about that numerous times on the podcast at different points. And so I love just his mastery, that he really seems to be able to get into the head, and just the tone in which he writes them just always has appealed to me. So him writing Vader just seemed like a perfect fit from everything that I've really enjoyed that he's written over at Marvel, dealing with the specific characters. And I've always been a huge Vader fan, and really wanted to see what he was going to do with the character, which he has continued on. Again, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, because I'm hoping in doing this review and talking about this series in depth that I provoke you enough, if you haven't picked it up, that you might, I'll give you enough information that you at least will pick up one of the trades to check out the series. And again, we have 4 Darth Vader proper trades, and then if you don't want to miss any of the issues, they did have the crossover, so Star Wars Down. So again, the links will take you to a search page on In Stock Trades and Comixology. There are no affiliate links, so I don't get anything from them. Again, it's just leading you in the direction to pick them up. So don't feel like you just have to pick up these 3. This series is only 25 issues, so you can get 5 trades, or you can get the 25 issues. You're probably going to come out cheaper, especially using In Stock Trades and or Comixology going digital. You're going to save probably more going the trade route, since the series is finished, and finding the individual issues, and it'll probably be quicker to track them down that way. Don't feel like you just have to read these. These are just what I'm covering in this, but this is my overall thoughts on the series as a whole. It's a really good examination of Vader, and like some of the descriptions we're saying with his this book is set right after A New Hope, leading up to Empire Strikes Back, covering that period of time, which was by design by Gillian, because we kind of already know where Vader is in Empire Strikes Back. But this book paints Vader is has, in the Emperor's eyes, is the sole failure for the destruction of the Death Star, because he's the lone survivor. He's the only one. If you go back to A New Hope, he's the only one that survives at the end. So the onus is on him. He's not in favor with the Emperor anymore. So this whole series is, kind of Vader going through trials, trying to get back in favor of the Emperor, and also at the same time preparing protecting himself in case of, which very much goes back to Anakin. If you remember Revenge of the Sith, where he speaks on a lot of times because he's a Sith, potentially betraying the Emperor and taking him out and taking his place. So it's a lot of Sith shiftiness that goes on throughout the series as he's trying to regain favor and preparing if he never gains favor back, both ways, which is very interesting. And then him dealing with being Darth Vader and coming to full terms with that in his previous life as Anakin Skywalker. And that's handled really, really well by Kieran Gillen. You could tell, he's a Star Wars fan and he's a huge Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker fan, because he plays a lot throughout the series, touching back to specific periods in the lore, in the movies even, and touch on some certain things you can see directly from Anakin / Vader's point of view and see where his struggles and conflict is still within himself with the light and dark side, which is handled tremendously well by Gillian. He's a very masterful writer. When I see his name on a book, just based on that alone, I don't even care a lot of times who the artist is. I'm compelled to at least check that series out. But I like his work with villains, and I'm going to speak to that fact a little bit more later. Now, to get to the artwork, we all know, because I've talked about him ad nauseum many different times, and when I do my different top 10 or greatest all-time artists, I love Salvador LaRocca. I love his artwork. He's by far one of my favorite artists of all time. Seeing them pair together just was like a fit. His style to me is like timeless. I like it is not too, he has that perfect kind of blend. He's not super photorealistic and he's not too cartoony. He fits right in that medium, and his style just worked extremely well with Vader. I love the fact that this was a relatively short run. It wasn't a lot of fill-in during the Darth Vader down. I can't remember who did some of the issues. I think that might have been where he took one little break, but pretty consistently, the artwork was all done by Salvador, which I always appreciate. But he's always been good throughout his career, and if he's on a book, he's on a book. It's not like we see so much nowadays where you have an artist on a book and he does like 2 or 3 issues and he takes a break for 2 issues, and he's always been professional in that way, which he's consistent, and he puts out that work, and he stays on time, and the books don't have to be delayed. He's on point with his artwork, which I really appreciate. And like I spoke on before, I like when I get invested in a series that we constantly don't have a turnover in artwork, or you see so much nowadays where one artist will start a book, then they bring in other artists to help finish it to get it out on time. You don't have that with him, and it creates a certain synergy because not all writers and artists have the same chemistry, and the synergy could be ruined as a reader because after you get accustomed to a certain creative team. As a reader, to me, I don't know if you guys feel that way, but for me as a reader, I also get a chemistry with the creative team and a rhythm to how I read that book, how I comprehend it, because I know how it flows. So when you constantly have that changeover, or if it's not something planned, like you have something with where I first really had to face it back when Iron Fist, the Immortal Iron Fist came out, and you had you had David Aja and oh gosh, I cannot remember the other artist's name, but one did the current day artwork, and then maybe Travel Foreman, if I remember correctly, and they transferred from one was the present day, and when they did flashbacks looking at other Iron Fist, it was another. So they had a rhythm together, and their styles contrasted one another perfectly, but they both had great chemistry with the writing team. So you knew, boom, I'm in a flashback, boom, I'm in the present day. It had its own rhythm to it, but it gets so choppy and sloppy now with books. It had a purpose to it. Now you'll see, like, you can have 4, 5, 6 sometimes different artists where, like, just from panel to panel, the artwork gets choppy and different and confusing. So it's really rare, where, even though I feel like it shouldn't be, that you have one creative team on the book, getting it out consistently, and again building up that continuity in the language of the book to allow you to read it. Because sometimes when you have all those different hands in it with the artwork, and some people come in just to do finishes, and some lay down, you know, like the initial artwork, and other people finish it, sometimes you can lose so much, and it can kill a otherwise great story. So I do appreciate that they were able to keep this creative team on the book, and they produced a consistent quality experience throughout. I'll have to say my overall thoughts on this. If you're not a Star Wars fan, or you don't like Darth Vader, this is not going to be a book or series for you. But if you like Star Wars, I think it's a really good, fun book to read, because you definitely get some deep insights into the mind of Vader. You really do get some insights. And also, we don't get a full sense, because the scale, when you really think about it, of Star Wars is so minuscule in this big universe. We're starting to see that concept grown out more with the new movies, with the Force Awakens, and hopefully we even see more of it in The Last Jedi. And we definitely saw it in Rogue One, that the universe within Star Wars is a huge place. So you start to get to see, in Vader's travels throughout the universe, how he was perceived by the greater universe. And it was like tales spoken about him. And also the Ahsoka Tano novel, which I talked about, that came out a few months back, also, where, like, with Outer Rim planets, how he was like this mythical person, like a urban legend, so to speak, because you know, you would hear these stories as people travel throughout the universe that had came across or seen Darth Vader in action, how universally feared he was, and how much of a front man he was for the Empire. It's kind of fascinating, because we saw the gravitas he had in the movies, but it was such on a small scale, and our heroes fighting with him. But we really don't we start finally seeing now how the legend of Vader had got so large, which is fascinating to me. I would have to say, if I had to rate this series, I would give it a good read, which on a numerical scale, I would break it down anywhere between 7 and 8. I would lean more towards this is a solid 8. Again, if you're a remote fan of Star Wars, and you haven't checked this series out, it's definitely worth investing, picking up, and reading. Again, it's fun as a fun read, informative read, and I think it's definitely worth checking out. Trying to see what else. I think I've said everything positive I possibly can say about it. I will have links in the show notes, you know, again, to where you can pick this up if you want to check it out. Let me know what you think about it. If you're not familiar, I announced last week that I have this contest going. I'll have the links for the YouTube channel. I have a $25 gift certificate that I have from In Stock Trades. What I'm doing is, if you go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel, of course. If you go into the newest video, which will be this episode once it posts, and you thumb up the video and comment on it, I'm going to be picking from that pool. So you have one opportunity per week, because these episodes go right on. When I upload them to the internet, they go up on YouTube as well. I'm trying to get subscribers built up to the YouTube channel. I'm working on original content that I'm going to be posting on there, but I need subscribers to the channel, so I'm hoping to pull some traffic over there just to get people to subscribe. So when I start doing original content there, you'll be subscribed and be the first people to get it. So I'll be picking from the pool. It's going to run to the end of the month. So I'll have the link here, or if you go on YouTube, just do a search for Comic Book Savant. You should find the channel either way. But again, I'll have a link on the website. Just go to comicbooksavant.com. You'll see the posting for this episode, and it'll have a link to the YouTube channel, so then you can find it there. And that's all I have for you guys for this week. As always, check out my friends over at the Comics Podcast Network. As well, check out InStockTrades.com and stop by the YouTube channel to register to win in the contest. You can win a $25 gift certificate from InStock Trades, which is awesome. You can get you some of these trades that I'm talking about right now with that gift certificate. But that's all I have for you guys this week. As always, check out the website, comicbooksavant.com, and I'm on social media. On Twitter and Instagram, both at Comic Book Savant, all one word. And I will see you guys next week for another episode of Comic Book Savant. Take care.
And into lyrical wholeness. And I know this, and I know this. This I know, this I know.